I just hope all of this business gets over with quickly. It seems quite apparent that the other company was trying to get rid of any evidence of the drug smuggling. So we'll ask these questions and then beat a hasty retreat.
Hello and welcome back to the Lost Legends of Scadrial Mistborn Adventure Game Podcast. I'm your host and narrator, Trevor, and with me I have the well-roasted Dusters.
Hello, I'm Lena, also known as Beladora Wilde.
I'm Zach, and I play Finnigan Bomon.
I'm John, I go by Clovermite Online, and I play Clydus Logan.
I have to just stop and clarify something. Lena, are you also known as Beladora Wilde? Is that a real life alias for you?
I don't know. Is it?
Do people call you Bella in real life? Because that just blew my mind.
No, just known as that in the podcast.
It was just that phrase was like, whoa. Let's jump back in. We are going to start back up, I think, the day that the inspector is going to show up. And so, just to kind of review, because it's been a while for us players, Clydus is going to be dressed in his business clown outfit.
Yes. Yes.
Why don't you go ahead and describe that outfit again for us?
Basically, like normal clown face paint, except, instead of a smile, he's got a frown. And he's got, dark rimmed glasses painted onto his face. They're not actually on his face, they're painted. But he's still got, the Petunia-esque hat. And he's got, a roughed up business suit that's had, the sleeves torn off. Not clean cut, but just torn off. And he's got, these oversized trousers with, a black and white check pattern. And oversized, Ronald McDonald red shoes. And he's carrying a very proper looking, the only part of his outfit that actually looks truly like a businessman is his briefcase. And it is a black leather briefcase with metal latches and, the 3-digit tumblers for the lock.
Is there a water bladder in that suitcase, John?
There's one in the hat, remember?
Yeah, but the suitcase is there a pie in that suitcase? What is in this clown suitcase? Am I right, guys?
Oh, I was just going to have, documents written all in crayon, but I like the idea of a pie as well.
If a clown is carrying a suitcase, it's to get into clown chicaneries. So, there's, a huge water bladder or a pie. There's got to be something clown-related in there if you're really going to sell this.
Oh yeah, I'll go with the pie, but it's hidden at first. But under
I'd like to think that it's just full of red noses.
It's just like those little toy snakes that expand when you open up a container.
Oh yeah, it's got to have some of those in there as well.
Depends on what combination you put in there. You open up one, and then there's just a handkerchief, but when you pull the handkerchief, it keeps coming. And then if you close it back up and put in another combination, there's the pie.
That's brilliant.
Unfortunately, I don't think Clydus would have time to make something that elaborate. So I think the briefcase in the pie is... why don't you give me a resources roll to acquire all of that, John?
Okay.
The pie and the briefcase.
And there definitely has to be spring snakes in it now that Lena brought it up. And at least one red clown nose. So, when he's doing serious business.
If we could go full clown car, there could be other clowns inside it.
Oh, he got 3s.
Yeah, with 3s, you were able to find, you are in Elendil after all, not terribly sophisticated, but, you can do some clown tricks with your briefcase now.
And of course it's got papers that have just literally been stolen from the boards.
The boards that you're using to plan it?
Yeah, other posts.
Oh, those boards. Okay. I forgot the evil that I unleashed upon Brandon. If you're listening, I am so sorry. Anyway, what is Finn doing to be prepared? I'll give everybody one beat to do last minute stuff.
So Finnigan is basically going to set himself up kind of as a technical supervisor, where he's kind of in charge of the stage handing things that happen behind the scenes. So he's not planning on talking much, because that's not exactly his strong suit.
Is there anything specific you want to do to kind of sell that?
Well, he's got the look down, if I'm being honest. But he might have something like some lights or something that he's tinkering with, or something along those lines. He might act like he's actually working on something specific for the show to kind of give it that sense of authenticity.
Okay. And Bella, how about you?
Well, Bella got her hair all did, and she is all outfitted now as Roselle Eckham. So now she's going to be doing a lot of socializing and trying to put their name out there to make this whole thing seem legit.
Oh, that's right. We did have at least that one more set. So what do we want to make this? I think that this is definitely going to be charm. And then we're going to give you a +1 for your skillful manipulator and a +1 for your brassy personality. I don't think you've gotten that one yet, but like you're trying to stand out, and that definitely works to your favor.
Okay, I think that's enough dice. Oh, that's way too many dice. That was... Oh, baby, that is 5s and 3 nudges.
Yeah, with 5s and 3 nudges, even just in this small amount of time, you've been able to put in enough appearances in enough places and make enough of a impression that the whole town is talking about. What were you talking about when you were there? Were you like building up the train, or really just kind of building up yourself and your own personality?
It probably would have been a little bit of both, but it primarily would have been focusing on the whole aspect of this new untapped industry for train-related entertainment. And, yeah, just giving credence to the whole idea that this business is for real.
So with the three nudges alone is enough to like benefit the whole party. So I'm gonna give a couple options here. I can give everybody a +1 moving forward to their next roll, or even keep it in reserve for a roll that you want to add it to in the course of this episode. Bella, you could have done this all so successfully that it took far less time, and you could take another action and catch a beat, which is something that we haven't used very often, which is a mechanic. Or I can do some mysterious third effect that I won't really reveal until it's appropriate.
I'm intrigued by
Same
this
here.
mysterious third effect.
Let's take what's behind door number 3.
All right, door number 3 it is. I think that's the more fun option, too.
Yay!
So, it is the morning of. Is there any other last-minute role-playing that you guys want to do, either with yourselves or with Punk, Hinston, before things get rolling?
I'd imagine I'd be working with Hinston in order to procure some kind of, rigging and setups and things like that, just so it looks like I'm actually working on something.
Yeah, go ahead and give me resources roll. We'll use that as your beat last time. That didn't really get taken.
Okay. Three ones.
3 1s, you're able to get some like very. Let's do this way. With 3 1s, you have been able to procure like a little model train set, and
Ooh.
like little to scale pieces of equipment, so it can look like you're kind of planning from a larger scale using that without having to like lug the equipment around the actual train car.
Can I also have little miniature like action figures that are basically crash test dummies?
I think with the ones that you've maybe been able to like make some yourself out of things that you've found around, like
I was able
maybe
to whittle
like
some together.
Glued a couple nails to a bolt and a wing nut, so it's like a rudimentary body and head, and like you've got a couple other things like that, and like some of them like you've put like a clown nose on top of one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's very homebrew D&D. Like this piece of candy is the dragon, and this Lego is my wizard. Is how the rest of it looks. But you were able to find like a model train set.
Okay.
And like a couple like fashioned together a couple like things that look like pieces of equipment like lights and things.
Mm-hmm. Coolio. And how many resources does that take?
It'll just erase your -1.
Okay.
So, any last-minute role-playing before the inspector gets there?
Not right now. I'm playing with my trains.
Well, I see at least he's getting in the role. Okay. So, a couple hours after, most people wake up, maybe not Clydus, there's a knock on the door, and Hinston goes to answer it. And he brings in this very diminutive-looking man. He's got like a light brown jacket. It doesn't really fit him that well. He's got a hat that kind of looks a little disheveled on his head, and he's got big round glasses on his face. And as he walks in, he kind of like takes a look around, and he pulls a handkerchief and like sneezes into it a little bit. And then takes a couple steps forward, looking to try and locate everybody.
I am immediately stepping forward, and I am going to go over and shake his hand, not aggressively, but it's like borderline aggressive. And I'm going to get really close to him and be like, "Hey there, darling. So I hear you are interested in our business proposal?"
My name is Stefan Haben. I'm actually an inspector with the constabulary. I'm here to question you about the events of the, we're calling it the day of the exploding train. It's a little dramatic down at the office, they like to have their fun. But, I'm just here to ask you some questions because, your train was actually right alongside it, and there's quite a bit of confusion as to why that would even be allowed. So, hello.
Well, hi, I'm Roselle Eckham. I hired the. Oh my God, what were they called? The Circus. It's completely out of character. I just do not remember.
Ringaling's Fantastic Circus and Alamantic Feats. I'll give you that one for free. But you're not going to get many more of those DM saves without spirit rolls in the future.
Well, I hired a Ringling to help me with a little business venture, and these two are my employees. Fellas, do you want to introduce yourselves?
I'm Finn. I do technical stuff.
Technical stuff?
Oh, like pushing things here when I'm told to push things here. Pushing things there when I'm told to push things there. And then making things go whoosh when they need to go whoosh.
Well, that does sound very technical. And he kind of like leans over and nudges Hinston and gives like a little chuckle. And Hinston just kind of like looks over and raises an eyebrow.
Meanwhile, Clydus is just standing stiffly in line, waiting his turn, staring forward.
So after like not getting a response from Hinston, Stefan will move down and stand right in front of Clydus and say, "Stefan, it's nice to meet you." And he puts his hand out.
Yes, and Clydus pretends to like push up the bridge of the non-existent glasses painted on his face. Pleasure, I'm sure. He extends his hand for a shake. I'm Dr. Jithrod Boslow, PhD in clown bizology. Yes.
A doctor? A clown doctor?
Of course. This is serious business, clowning is.
Serious business?
Yes.
at Serious SRZ underscore BIZ on Twitch. Sorry, I just had to plug Adventure Inc. there. Well, serious business. Where did you study? Where did you get your degree? I'd never heard of a degree in bizology.
Clown bizology. Yes, it's the official
Clown bizology.
uncertified bronze-rated Ellendale School of Clowning and Clown Businessology. It's a correspondence course, of course.
Well, it's quite a diverse background here. I just have a couple of questions for each of you. This really shouldn't take up too much time. Hinston, do you have a separate office where I could get set up? So Hinston waits for just a second, and then kind of looks around, and there is an office in the warehouse, and so he goes over and he opens it up, and at Stefan's direction puts a table and 2 chairs in there. So it's going to be a very easy chat. I just want to know what happened, what you saw, see if we can get to the bottom of whatever it was that happened there. Who would like to speak to me first? Oh, don't be shy. Don't be shy.
Well, I suppose that...
I was just thinking about my business pitch, but I would absolutely love talking to you first, darling.
Yes, of course.
Come right in. Come right in.
I fluff my hair and I go into the room.
All right, and I'm going to pull you over into another chat.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
Okay.
And before you do that, Trevor, I'm gonna make an aside to Clydus, and is like, I almost slipped up. I almost said I make things go boom when I'm told to make them go boom.
God, Finn.
Yeah.
It would have been bad.
I'm glad that you didn't, Mr. Technical Guy. Yes.
Mr. Technical Guy. All right, we will be back in a couple minutes.
Entering private chat.
Please, just make yourself comfortable, and we'll get through this as quickly as possible.
Oh, of course, and by all means, would you like a glass of water, mister?
Oh, I'm fine. I really, I
you
have
sure?
to have
And
a
I go
special
pour him a
brand of
glass of
water.
water and I
No,
put it
really,
down in front
really,
of
it
him.
affects my constitution. I really shouldn't. And he takes the water, but he just kind of sets it to the side.
Okay, I'm going to, lean myself on the edge of the table and, go, well, I'm really glad that you dropped by today because, I have this super exciting business venture and I'm just so thrilled to tell you all about it. So, I employed a ring-a-ling as part of this new venture of mine. And, essentially what it is, have you ever been on a train, Mr. Stefan?
Yes, I sometimes get sent out to the other cities to try and identify some of their stranger things. But I'm quite familiar with trains, and he has pulled out a notebook and he has started taking notes on the things that you're telling him.
Well, darling, train rides, they can be just so unbelievably boring, right?
I suppose so.
Haven't you ever wanted your train rides to be a little bit more exciting?
Well, if I wanted excitement, I could have gone other ways in the police department. But I'm more of a calm and collected kind of person.
I slam my hand down on the table in front of him and I go, clowns!
He jumps like a foot.
Clowns is the answer.
Is that why you have your friend in there with the business clownology degree?
Absolutely. He is the best at what he does. Just bringing smiles to people's faces is what he lives for.
So what made you decide to go on this particular route, this train?
Well, I'm not entirely sure. I think that it was just a matter of convenience.
Okay. And he writes a couple notes. Did you see anything strange that day?
Well, to be honest with you, I spent most of my time inside the train car, so there wasn't a lot to be seen. I did catch a bit of the performance, played a little role myself. I like to have a little bit of a personal touch in my own business ventures, so I did a little bit of the clowning myself as well. But yeah, other than that, it was a raging success, I would say.
Yes, but what about the explosion? Did you see anything strange? Anything that would have... we're trying to get to the bottom of the explosion. It's all very good about your little clown act. So very, very sure that it will be wild success. But what did you see about the explosion?
Explosion? I'm not really sure that I saw very much. Like I said, I was in the train car for most of the time, but I'm really glad that you say that it's going to be a raging success because you see, we've got some openings for a little bit of investment, and as you say, it's going to be such a raging success that I think it would be quite profitable for you to look into our business ventures a little bit in more personal detail, and I would be happy to provide you the details for how to go about investing in our little escapade. I give him a big ol' smile.
Go ahead and give me a charm roll.
Okay. Threes and a nudge.
I mean, there is more pressing business to get to first, but I suppose if you have, some sort of literature or a card or something, I could look into it in the future and maybe decide.
Darling, I would be happy to provide you all of the information that you need.
Do you, have anything to hand him, or you just,
Do you think it's reasonable for me to have a business card? I don't imagine that I would have gotten very many made up, but I might have had, just a small handful to give to people as I was bumping shoulders and whatnot. Elbows, I guess, is the phrase.
I'm gonna make this a spirit roll.
Okay. Nope, that's nothing.
Yeah, you weren't able to get anything made for the occasion because you're used to just going out and you are your own calling card. People don't forget Bella.
That is very fair. So I'm just gonna reach into my pocket and pretend like I'm looking for something, and then go, oh, darn, you know what? I've just run out of business cards, but I would be happy to drop by down to your office and drop one off in person whenever you have a moment.
Yeah, he'll go ahead and tear out a small piece of paper from his notebook, and he'll jot some lines down and then kind of scoot it over towards you. Now I understand that there were some of the clowns on the car at the other train at one point of the performance. Is that correct?
I'm not sure that I saw that part. I know that there was a bit of an acrobatics act happening as part of Ringaling Circus. It was fascinating. You should definitely watch it sometime. They have lurchers and gunshots launching people up into the air. It's incredible. Stefan, you really have to see it at some point, darling. It is magnificent.
So it doesn't seem like you know Ringling and his act all that well.
I mean,
would that be fair to say?
Together, yeah.
So you wouldn't know if there were anyone of, say one of his clowns who might have a reason to be involved in noble house sabotage, corporate sabotage, or anything of that nature.
Oh no, darling, I have no idea about any of that. I am a big supporter of the corporations, as you might expect, being a business person myself.
How well do you know your two business associates? Or three, I should say, but I've already had quite a long chat with Hinston.
We've been working together for a while, not an awful long time. Yeah, it's I don't know them too well. I know that Finn, and she goes very distant for a moment, like she's thinking very hard about something that she knows about Finn. You know, he's very unassuming.
Find something. Nope, I got nothing. All right. Do you suppose there could be anything that might make that they might a motive, or be using this performance to further their own goals?
I mean, I can't say that we're very close personal associates, so I wouldn't know.
Well, I'm very sorry to take up your time. I appreciate you being so frank with me, but I think I've got everything I need right here.
Perfect. Well, I will drop by with that business card for you, and I look very forward to seeing how we might be in touch in the future.
I'm looking forward to it myself, and he gives a big smile that does seem pretty genuine.
All right.
All right, we will jump back in with the other ones until I steal someone else away.
Okay.
Meanwhile,
After this message from our sponsors.
We don't have sponsors, unfortunately.
We damn well should.
Well, that might cross the line into copyright issues.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, normally I'd be saying let's talk shit, but I'm too tired. I don't have any ideas.
You put all you had into uncertified bronze-rated Ellendale School of Clowning and Clown Businessology.
That's right. Correspondence course, of course.
Correspondence. Yeah. Now does one have to be referred to that program?
No. You just need to put your name out on the boards.
Oh, the boards, of course.
Where else would you find the official uncertified bronze-rated Ellendale School of Clowning and Clown Businessology? Correspondence course.
That's how anything gets around in this town anymore.
Sure.
Oh, what have we done?
A joke that will keep on giving for months to come.
At least 4.
I mean, there's pretty much almost nothing that you can't bring as a callback to the boards.
Yeah. Oh, the boards. I don't know. I think the School of Clowning and Clown Businessology will be coming back for a little while. Oh, good lord.
This does remind me a little bit. One of my proudest moments as a GM. I was running a Star Wars campaign, and Trevor was part of this one. And they had just illegally landed in this spaceport. They're playing. This was like the classic Star Wars era, so they were with the rebels, and they just had a bunch of tech scan them and found this tracking device that had been put on them. Had that taken off, and then the leader guy was like, okay, we've got someone planted in customs, so you should have no problems. Just go in there, tell them you're with me, and everything will be fine. And walked out. And meanwhile, I forced them to go in one by one and come into a separate channel like this. Because, we're playing on Roll20. And what I did is I had two stormtroopers that had defected to the rebel side. But the way I set them up is that they love to play pranks. So they pretended like they'd done this scan and found contraband on the person and set off these alarms. And then had this huge gun turret come out of nowhere and start counting down. And
oh no!
So obviously the person is struggling as much as they can to try and sneak away or disarm this and that. And then once the countdown finished, it's just one of those bang flags pops out the end of the turret. And they're like, "Okay, help us trick the next person." So they tie him up. And then we let the next person in. And meanwhile, all the rolls were through Roll20. So everyone can't hear anything, but they just see a bunch of these rolls occurring. And then, we start the process again. And that was a lot of fun.
Sounds like it.
Particularly when Trevor's character was a droid. Was like, oh, can I leave my comm channel open? So finally, as the third person, everyone else, I was like, okay, yeah. So I left the channel open. Everyone else got to hear what was going on, and we all had a good laugh about it.
Mm-hmm.
Entering public chat.
Oh, hey, they're back.
There we go.
Hello.
Hello.
I have consumed my first victim, and I am ready for the next.
I sold y'all out.
Good.
I sung like a canary.
That violin champ is going to be so disappointed in you.
Yes, well.
All right. I think that was quite illuminating. Who would like to come next?
I suppose as the more serious business partner here, I should probably go next.
Step right in, please.
Entering private chat.
Hello. What did you say your name was, Dr. Bozo?
Dr. Jidrod Boslow, PhD in clown businessology. Excuse me one moment. I need to prepare for the interview. And Clydus sets the briefcase down and, quickly turns the tumblers, open the lock, and immediately upon opening, like 2 or 3 spring snakes come flying out the sides of the suitcase or the briefcase. And
as soon as those pop out, Stefan jumps about a foot and a half in the air, and he starts pounding on his chest. He says, "Oh, you people do certainly like to frighten." Whew. Whew.
And Clydus completely acts as if nothing happened. Just reaches into the briefcase, pulls out a red clown nose, puts it on his face, and then calmly closes the briefcase. Yes, I'm prepared now.
Excellent. Can you tell me, what was it that prompted the 4 of you to create this little trade business?
Money, of course, and the excitement of bringing the joy of clowning and the synergy of the circus to everyone in Ellendale. And what better spectacle could you have than, and better return on investment than in the modern everyday trains, the lifeblood of the Ellendale Basin. Yes.
Interesting. Yes, interesting. And this was your first one of these outings, correct?
Of course, it was a magnificent brand new spectacle, which is unfortunately soiled by whatever foul business was occurring on that other train. Indignity.
Yes, and that is the reason that we're here. What can you tell me?
I'm personally offended,
I'm sure. It sounds like you've put a lot of work into this.
Indeed.
What can you tell me about the explosion?
Have you seen our brochures? And then Clydus opens the briefcase again and pulls out one of the brochures from the train and hands it to him.
Oh, I forget exactly, how good it looked. It was not anything special, right?
I don't remember.
I think, because I remember calling you guys a shill. That's all I remember about that.
Yeah, I think they looked good enough to be clearly shit,
was this one that was on the boards? And you went and grabbed it and pulled it off?
I'm thinking this is one's gonna be from that original set that we handed away on the train.
Okay. So he looks at it and he says, well, I wonder why Roselle didn't have this for me, but thank you very much.
I'm the more business minded between the 3 of us, of course, being the doctor and
all. He kind of frowns a little bit. Go ahead and give me a charm roll.
Do I get deceptively lackadaisical?
Yeah, I think you can get that one. That makes sense.
Ooh, I got 5s and a nudge.
I'm sorry, you cut out at the first part.
I said I got 5s and a nudge.
So he studies you for just a second, and then he just kind of goes, of course, yes, indeed.
Yes. Indeed.
So what can you tell me about the explosion?
Well, I can tell you that I was busy examining my fellow clowns and, of course, preparing for my own act. And after that had gone successfully, just noticed some sort of odd smoke coming from the other train. And I didn't pay it too much mind, but it was a little worrying. But, of course, being the business-minded clown that I am, I had to focus on our fellow clownsmen. And all of a sudden, there was a large explosion and damn near scared everyone off the side of the train. Go to look out the window, and half that train is gone. Debris raining from the sky. It was insane. I was unfortunately rather tied up at the moment, so I wasn't able to do much to help.
I'm sorry. Good callback.
I figured you'd love that one.
Now, I understand that at some point there were performers from your train on top of the other train.
Of course, it's just good business. Advertising. Location, location, location. And, of course, since we're on a train, our location is everywhere. So, fellow trains, that's a good location. And we just spread our brochures. You've seen how well they're designed.
He gives another smile. How well do you know the people in Ringling Circus?
Unfortunately, I'm rather new to the clown business. It was a long time in the correspondence course gaining my PhD, and, well, this was really my first gig.
Okay, do you know if there might be, any motives among any of the performers, corporate sabotage, or undermining a noble house? Do you know of any of them who might have money problems, or something of that nature that might provoke them to plant a bomb? Something of that
bomb!
nature?
And Clydus,
hypothetical,
clutches
purely.
his chest. Outrageous! If any of them ever stoop to that, why, I won't have it! And he bangs his fist on the desk. Why, they'll be fired this instant! I must find the appropriate paperwork. And Clydus opens a briefcase and just starts tossing out various documents that are, most of them written in crayon. Others are clearly just trash posts that were scavenged from the boards. And then finally at the bottom of it, there's, a pie. And then he picks up the pie and sets it out in front of him. Yes, I believe this will do.
Stefan is looking mildly alarmed. He's stopped taking notes, which he had been doing since the start of the conversation. Like his pen has just kind of stopped mid-word as he's just sort of staring across the table as you toss things out behind you.
What was the question again there, Inspector?
Do you possibly know if there might be any motives among the performers for performing a crime of this nature?
A crime! Outrageous! And Clydus pounds the pie in front of him and splatters it all over.
Once again, as soon as you slam your fist on the table, Stefan jumps about a foot in the air out of his seat. And this time his seat kind of clatters over. Give me a physique roll, because you're just slamming your fist into this pie, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I know it's bad form to laugh at your own jokes, but I can't help it. I got ones and a nudge.
Okay, with ones and a nudge, he gets a big splotch on his face and a little bit down his glasses and a little bit of a dribble on his coat. But most of the rest of it explodes up back onto you and then all over the table. It's on his notes a little bit, and then on the walls and a little bit on the ceiling. There is just pie.
Clydus just takes a finger and gets a good helping of the filling and gives it a taste. Yes, blueberry, of course. Proper pie. What was the question again, Inspector?
Let's move on. How well do you know your three business co-owners, your associates, Hinston and Roselle and Finn?
Well, I would say that we know each other only as well as co-workers can know each other. We're not too personally close, but we've been planning this for, I would say, at least a little while, maybe good nigh on a few months or so, if my memory does serve me correctly. And I would say that Miss Beladora clearly dresses very well. I would say that Mr. Hinston is a little unsufferable but competent. And Mr. Technical Guy is, well, Mr. Technical Guy. He does the technical things. Yes.
I believe you just referred to Miss Roselle as Beladora. Can you tell me why?
Did I?
You most certainly did.
Well, interesting. Well, I suppose it is a very beautiful name, having Bell in the name. I always liked bells. The ringing. And of course, they would go very well on doors. Can you imagine the effort that you'd be saved if instead of having to bang your fist on the door, you could simply just ring a bell? Yes, it does seem like a good business opportunity, don't you think?
You see him write a couple of notes, and then he gets a slightly apprehensive look on his face, and he says, "Is there any sort of motive you could ascribe to your business associates for why they might engage in something nefarious?"
No.
He looks very relieved at the simple answer. Incredibly relieved. He was very afraid you were going to hit the pie again. Is there anything else that you think that I should know before we end this interview?
I would say, have you ever thought about getting into the business of investing? We clearly have a very promising business endeavor ahead of us. Well, now would be the appropriate time to be getting right in on the ground floor, and profits are best when one gets in early.
Well, Miss Roselle has already promised to stop by my office to discuss things at a future date. So,
of course. She is, of course, the face of the organization. I'm the brains behind it.
It does appear you are quite spirited. Quite spirited indeed. And he's wiping the pie from his glasses at this point. Well, he's been trying to, but he's about finished it.
That would be the clown half of the clown bizology, of course. One cannot come from a school of clowning and clown businessology if one does not have the true spirit of clown. Well, that would just be business. Quite frankly, just business is far too serious.
Yes, his eyes has kind of glazed over a little bit. He stopped taking notes. But I believe that we're done here. If we can move on to the next person.
Oh, of course. Allow me to present you with my card. And then Clydus opens up the briefcase again and gets out just a small, business card-sized sheet of paper that's just written in crayon, says Dr. Gerard Boslow.
He kind of slides it into a pocket where the pamphlet that you gave him is.
Would you like to keep the pie, or should I take it away?
Well, I don't. This is not my room, so whatever you want to do.
Of course. And Clydus then just packs up the suitcase, leaves the pie there on the table, and walks out.
All right, let's go ahead and jump back over.
Before we do, one quick prediction.
Oh, yeah?
I'm going to bet that Zach is going to take as long as you describe it to him, I'm going to guess that Zach is going to take a bite of the pie.
Yeah, that tracks.
Let me know if he does.
All right, let's hop back over.
Meanwhile,
you missed some fun stuff.
I'm so disappointed that I'm not going to be able to hear this until it airs.
Finnegan's already put together that his best bet is to not talk.
Yeah, I feel like Bella talked a lot, but not about a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, John and I were saying, oh wow, they've been in there a long time.
Yeah, it was probably just because of Bella giving her business pitch.
Mm-hmm.
My hope is just that this inspector is going to come out of this whole situation being like, these guys are too stupid to commit any sort of train robbery.
Fucking John. Businessology. Clown businessology.
I feel like this is going to be a really fun episode to listen back on.
Yeah, especially because these are happening more and more often where we don't know exactly what happens through the entire episode, so we actually have to listen to the episodes now.
Yeah. God, what an adventure it's going to be if we just get fucking arrested.
I'm pretty sure we'd break out pretty easily. I mean, if breaking out turns out to be the plan.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably as easy as Bella yelling for everybody to start a riot. And then the entire prison just starts shouting. Like that scene in Avatar: The Last Airbender.
What'd you go and do that? Aren't you angry? Well, yeah, but I've been going to anger management classes. Then riot!
God, I just want to know what's going on in there.
Oh, good lord. Yeah, literally, I'm like, okay, we've learned from the chef debacle, Finnegan can only be himself, ever.
The one thing that I will say about, like, the whole situation that Bella just had in there was, she was asked by the inspector how long we've been working together and, like, how well she knows you guys, and literally the only thing that she could think of was, yeah, Finn, he's unassuming. She literally doesn't know another thing about him.
I wonder if they're going to call this episode The Interviews. Or the Pitch.
Oh god.
I feel like that'd be a good episode title.
Yeah, that would be good.
So the gang pitches a business plan.
I feel like with the way that this crew operates, all of our episode titles should have been structured like It's Always Sunny episodes. The gang commits arson. The gang commits arson, in parentheses, again.
That would probably be the episode title for about 50% of our episodes, though.
It's true.
Except for the one where we got the name of Well Roasted Dusters. We did not start that fire.
Yeah, that's true. The only one that we didn't
start a fire. For real.
We'd have to, like, start adding increasing detail to how the fire was started. Like, the gang commits arson on a train. The gang commits arson at a party.
The gang commits arson for the proletariat. Gang commits arson for the mob.
Yeah, we kind of just have one.
It's like green eggs and ham, but with arson.
It's so true.
It comes up so many times in the story, but it's different every time.
Yeah.
And then it's not a question of will we have arson, it's when will we have arson.
Yeah.
We will not have it, Well Roasted Dusters. Oh yes you will. Good lord, this is taking a while.
I'm so excited to hear what goes on in there.
Oh gosh.
I'm terrified, but
Oh
excited.
gosh. I have no idea. I'm just hoping I can bring my train set in and he'll play with me. I never knew my father.
Halfway through these interviews, Bella's just gonna bail. Leave a note on the table that says "Gone leaving." Disappear to the roughs and never be seen again.
Did you get that from? I saw an episode of Brooklyn Nine.
It's 100% from Brooklyn
I just
Nine-Nine.
watched that episode. I'm like, son of a bitch. That's where she got that.
It's just so
It's
good.
so good. Yeah, she just left this note on her desk that said "Gone leaving." Was that Gina that did that? That sounds like something Gina would do.
Yeah. I am terrified of what's going on in that side chat. They've been in there for a while.
Well, they have. Oh my gosh. John's improv classes might be paying off.
They're gonna get back into general, and then both Bella and Finn are gonna be in handcuffs before we know what's happening.
Oh gosh. Well, if he brought normal handcuffs, I could break out of them.
Are we just gonna have to leave town again after this?
Maybe. Bella would hate that. Too far away from any amenities.
I don't know. I feel like she might enjoy being arrested less than that.
Oh, that's fair.
I don't think that Ellendale has any, like, cushy low security prisons.
Yeah, I do not know.
Entering public chat.
Oh, they're back.
Hello.
They are.
Back.
Hello.
Hello.
John, would you like to describe Clydus's appearance, or should I?
Oh, God.
Oh no.
I'm gonna let you do it.
So the door opens, and Clydus steps out, and smeared all over the front of Clydus's clown costume, a little bit on his face, all on his arms, and especially on his right hand, is just a huge mess of blueberry pie filling.
Yes!
All over. You see the inspector, who is like studiously wiping his glasses with a handkerchief that has been stained blue, and there are a couple of spots of blueberry dribbling down his coat. Finn, I believe it was. I'm ready for you.
So what Finnigan does is he picks up whatever table he's got with the model train on it, and he's bringing it with him.
Okay. So it's probably then a much smaller table, because I imagine this is like kind of a smaller office with a desk. So I'm thinking like a TV tray size table then.
Then he may just be bringing the train.
Okay.
Itself.
Yeah, that works for me. So you like scoop
Okay.
all that stuff up and head inside?
Yep.
All right. Let's jump over to side chat.
Entering private chat.
Finn, you walk into this room, and there is a blueberry pie sitting in the center of the desk that has exploded. There is just a pile of blueberry debris all over, including on Stefan's open notebook. There's a little bit of blueberry pie filling dripping from the ceiling actively, and there's no real way to sit down in the chair without getting at least a little blueberry on your pants. There's also not a lot of place to put your train down, at least unless you want a blueberry train.
Okay.
Oh, also behind the table, there are various random pieces of paper that you recognize of having come off of the message boards. There is a couple of coiled up snakes, some crayons, and just a couple of random other things just scattered behind the chair.
That sounds about right. So what Finnegan's gonna do is he's gonna pull his sleeve up, and he's gonna wipe off a section of the table to set his train down on, and he's just gonna say, "It's really hard to get any work done with the clown hanging around, isn't it?"
He certainly seems to take his craft very seriously.
Oh yes, absolutely, all the time. Makeup never comes off.
That's horrifying, to be honest. I only spent a few minutes with the man.
Here, hold this. And he gives him the little stick figures that he's made.
Okay, yeah, he grabs onto them.
And so what Finnigan is trying to do is he's trying to set up a rigging on the model train where he's got the little figure he handed him kind of attached to the trapeze, like the things that the acrobats were doing on the other train. Mm-hmm. And he's trying to rig it so as the line is moving, there's a little light rig that follows it so they don't need a spotlight operator.
Go ahead and give me a physique roll to see if you can make it look like you're not only convincing at doing this work, but proficient at it.
That is 4s and a nudge.
Yeah, so Stefan kind of, he looks like he's about to talk for just a moment, and then he closes his mouth, and he just kind of watches you as you kind of fidget with it. And I think that you're able to kind of get it set up in a spotlight on a metronome. Mm-hmm. And so what you're kind of doing is moving the weight up and down to see exactly what where it would need to be on the metronome to match the speed of the trapeze.
And let go right now.
Yeah, you let go, and it follows it exactly. And Stefan seems to be very engrossed, watching it back and forth. That's quite a talent. And you do this on a much larger scale.
That's the plan.
Oh, intriguing. Your other compatriots spoke to me about possibly investing, and I can see this is quite impressive. I mean, clowns are clowns, and he kind of scrapes some of the pie away from his jacket onto the table. But this sort of applied technology is quite impressive, I must say.
I mean, to be honest, I'm just lazy and don't like to be everywhere at once, so I'm rigging it so I don't have to operate the lights while moving something else.
Well, I don't want to cast aspersions because I'm actually considering investing, but if you decided to pursue another career in some sort of mechanical sciences, it might suit you. But I digress. I have a couple of questions for you. What was the reason that you put on this performance?
I was paid to do it.
Okay. And he looks down at his notebook, and he pulls that handkerchief off that he'd been using to wipe his glasses with, and kind of smears the blueberry off of it, and then tries to keep writing at the bottom of the page, starts to take notes. I understand that there were the performers from the circus who were on top of the other train while it was moving. Is that correct?
I don't know anything about that. I'm just the tech guy. I just make sure that things swing when they're supposed to swing, and make sure nobody gets hurt. Anything outside of that is outside of my realm.
Okay. Okay, that does seem to limit some of my questions. I might ask them anyway, but I understand if you're not able to give me an answer because of your best of the best and all that. What was the reason that that train route was chosen?
Well, I wasn't really much part of the decision-making process on that myself. They just said, "Hey, can you work on a train?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure. How much you paying?"
Okay, how well do you know Ringling and his circus?
Ringling not terribly well myself. I'm not part of the big business making decisions. I'm much more I much more work with Roselle. She's the one that put my name forth.
And how long have you worked with them, though? Is this an ongoing relationship with Ringaling?
No, this was our first time. It was a trial run of sorts.
You see him try and make a notation up earlier on the page, but the writing implement just kind of breaks the paper where the blueberry is, and he gives a little bit of a sigh. You wouldn't happen to know if there was anyone in Ringaling Circus who might have some sort of... and he glances at the pie, you notice, for some reason. Motive for planting a bomb, or engaging in corporate espionage, or sabotaging a noble house, anything like that.
I mean, honestly, I'd look at the noble houses. They're always trying to stab each other in the back.
But do you know any of the performers who might have, like, money troubles, or have gotten into a drunken rage screaming about one of the other houses?
No, not that I know of.
Irvan, perhaps?
Nothing comes to mind, sir.
Okay, how well do you know your business associates, Hinston and Boslow, and, what was her name again?
Roselle.
Roselle. How well do you know them?
Oh, well, I mean, I'm one of those people that kind of works from place to place, and so if someone says they've got a job for me, and I mean, I'm a pretty strong lad, and I usually work here or there, so I mean,
Yes, but how well do you know them? That sort of doesn't answer my question.
I know them well enough to know they're going to pay me, and that's really all I'm looking for in my line of work.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Do you know of any reason they might have for wanting to engage in corporate espionage or sabotage, or, sabotaging another noble house, planting a bomb?
Nothing comes to mind, sir.
Oh, I just have one last question. Dr. Boslow referred to Roselle as Beladora. You wouldn't happen to know the reason why he might have done that, do you?
Well, considering the fact that he's a rusting clown, he might get confused very often.
He did show some inconsistencies, and he kind of like looks at the pie, looks at the floor behind you. I'd suppose that a slip of the tongue was not the strangest thing that occurred in this room.
Oh, he opened the briefcase, didn't he?
Oh, yes. Yes.
You shouldn't have let him do that.
Well, he was quite distraught. He said something about paperwork for firing Ringaling, and then he pulled out a pie, and then he asked me to repeat my question, and when I did, he slammed his fist into the pie. It was quite distressing, but...
Well, that's how he likes to fire people, by throwing pies in their face.
I suppose,
It gets the message across quite well.
From a clown's perspective, I suppose, that might make sense. But I'm not sure that I have any further questions for you, if...
Oh, here, hold this. And I've got another... I've been kind of tinkering with the train, just to kind of make it seem like I'm more focused on that than the actual conversation, because it's my job, quote unquote. And I'm gonna I've kind of jerry-rigged kind of like the Circle of Life moment again, where it's kind of like an animatronic with acrobats being various animals and things. I kind of want to see how that works on a smaller scale, because I love that moment, and I just kind of wanted to recreate it.
Give me another physique roll.
Fours and 2 nudges.
Yeah, so, you're able to put on, like, again, like, kind of get him engrossed and forget about the fact that, like, he just tried to end the interview. He's sitting there holding this and watching you, like, fidget with it as, you're able to do some kind of impressive things with the small, setup that you've built for yourself.
Oh, and what was that you were saying? I'm sorry. I get so engrossed in my work.
Yes, I can definitely understand why. I don't let them take advantage of your genius. And like he puts a hand on your shoulder and like looks you in the eye as he says this.
You think I'm a genius?
You're definitely doing some impressive things with these miniatures. If the circus is able to put these ideas into use, or if you are able to find a way to put this into use in industry in some way, I just do not undersell yourself, because from what I've seen here, you've got some real talent on your hands.
Well, thank you, sir. You've given me quite a lot to think about.
Of course. He stands up and he packs all of his things and he opens the door, and we can head back into the other chat.
Meanwhile...
So sounds like that went well for you.
There was a moment where I'm like, you know what? I had no plans for this, but this is the perfect opportunity.
Yes!
Unfortunately, I let your real name slip. I completely forgot.
Oh, God. Okay.
But hopefully with everything else that was going on, I just came across as fucking crazy.
Bella's gonna get fucking arrested.
Maybe.
I kept joking about how all of us are gonna get arrested at the end of this, but joke's on me, it's just gonna be Bella.
I was, I guess, at least fortunate or maybe unfortunate enough. For whatever reason, I didn't think, yes, Lena has a covered name, even though we discussed it. And I just remembered that Finn had only called himself the technical guy. So instead of calling him Finn, I just called him Mr. Technical Guy. Yeah, I can only hope the viewers enjoy that, because I had a hell lot of fun.
I'm so glad.
We apparently had the same idea of trying to hire him as an investor.
That's so good. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that like 80% of the time that I spent in there was just Bella trying to sell him on her business pitch.
Yeah, 80% of my time in there was talking complete nonsense. Apparently scaring the shit out of him.
Good.
I wonder how Zach is doing. Oh, I made a bet with Trevor before I left. So I left the pie there. And I said, Trevor, I'm betting, so long as you describe the pie being there, that Finn is going to take a bite of it.
Oh, I wouldn't want to take that bet, because I would be on the same team as you.
Yeah. Oh, Trevor's the same thing. He's like, yeah, I bet you're probably right. That fits with his character. I don't know how realistic it is to have a Southern person suddenly pulling out this phony British accent, but I'm not good enough at layering or even doing the Southern accent itself, let alone layering another one on top of it.
Oh God, same. Maybe Bella will just like fake her death.
I could see her doing that.
She'd have to make it as dramatic as possible. Make herself into like the new Survivor or some bullshit like that.
And of course it would have to involve fire and explosives.
Oh, absolutely.
At this point, I feel like if there's anything that our group is good at, it's being dramatic.
Yeah.
So I wonder if we do get arrested, whether Mr. Inspector will do it right on the spot, or will he come back later, or will the actual police, who aren't the nerds, come and do it?
I mean, I guess we'll find out. We'll probably find out in very short order.
Did he ask you how long we've known each other?
Yeah.
What did you
Luckily, Bella doesn't know shit about either Finn or Clydus. So she was like, yeah, I don't know. We've been working together for a while. We know each other, like, all right. I know that Finn is And then there was like a really, really long silence, and all she could come up with was unassuming.
That kind of fits with what I said about it. It was like, Mr. Technical Guy is, of course, good at technical things. That's unfortunately where I let your name slip. I was like, oh, well, you know, we know each other about as well as coworkers know each other, which is to say, not that particularly well, but we've been working for a while. I'd say, trying to come up with a business for nigh on a few months, and, well, Miss Beladora is rather pretty. Of course, it's where I let your name slip.
Oh, God, Bella's going to jail!
Yeah, my bad.
That's alright.
I mean, if nothing else, if you're the only one that get arrested, you know that we'll do a jailbreak.
Yeah, I feel like if that's what it came down to, like Bella's the only one to get arrested and the other two of you are fine, like you'd be staging a jailbreak at the same time that there's like a riot mysteriously breaking out in the prison.
Yeah, right. I mean, realistically though, like I doubt only you would be the one to be arrested.
That is true enough.
Because there's certainly no Dr. Gerard Bowes. And it's kind of hard to mistake Clydus for his height.
Yeah, that's true. Well, if they do get arrested, I'm not too concerned for their safety. I'm more concerned for anybody who works at that prison.
Right. I don't know though, we won't be able to smuggle anything in.
That's true, but I mean, it hasn't really stopped Bella before. She's had a gun for how many episodes now, and she's only pulled it out once or twice.
And we all know that doors are just a fun game for Finn.
Yeah. As long as Bella's not gagged, she is a threat.
Clydus would be useful as a bodyguard, but well, I guess he does have his connections, so that could come in useful as well.
Oh yeah, there's gotta be some mob people in the prison.
One
I
would
love
expect.
how we have already, like, decided they're going to jail. We're, like, preemptively planning for what to do when they do go to jail.
I mean, I did let that slip.
That was a bit of a slip.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing that we would... not the only thing. The thing that we would have going for us in that case is that Bella looks quite different. Most likely, without the red hair and, like, the floofy dresses.
True.
And she's also been going by a different name for a while, so...
I doubt that, I doubt he'll find many Kolos-blooded going around speaking with a British accent. Of course, the height is, the giveaway. It's
yeah,
not something
it
that's
is
easy
somewhat
to hide.
striking. Yeah.
No, 6'3" is not your average dude. Of course, he may not realize that Clydus is Kolos-blooded, since he's got all the paint on.
Maybe it's just a really tall dude. Just a really tall, like, super built clown.
With really sharp teeth.
Entering public chat.
Ah!
Hello.
Hey, he's back.
Hello!
I accidentally hit the carrot
He's
instead
also
of
back.
general.
So Stefan walks out first, and he is holding a couple of the little miniatures that Finn had built for his model. And Finn follows out right behind him. Bella, this time, as Stefan leaves the door open and you get a glimpse inside, you notice the presence of blueberry pie filling just everywhere in the office, splattered over the desk, on the ceiling, all over the floor.
And also on Finnigan's sleeve is covered in it as well.
Yeah, his right arm is dripping with blueberry, where it...
Did he do the same thing that Clydus did?
No. He actually ended up like clearing a space off, but he had to use his arm to do it. So now his arm is all blueberried up. I do believe that's all of the questions that I had to ask. Thank you very much for being so hospitable.
Yes, of course.
He turns to leave. He gets about 3/4 of the way to the door before he turns. He says, "Oh, and Beladora, one more thing."
Who?
Okay, I just had to check. Thank you. And he opens the door and he steps outside.
Oh, that's right! Bells on the doors! Where's my paper? I should write that idea down. And then Clydus runs into the blueberry room.
And I think that's where we're going to call it an episode.
Wait, sorry. So you'll notice as he's leaving, Finnigan's kind of beaming, and he goes to Bella, and he kind of nudges her, and he's like, "He called me a genius."
I'd pat him on the arm, and then a little bit on the cheek, and I go, "Good for you, darling."
And he didn't take his advice. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to call it an episode. Thank you guys so much for listening. I do think that marks the official end of the Clown Train arc, which has been wild. Yeah, and we will be back again in 2 weeks. Thank you guys so much.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Hey everyone, I wanted to take a moment to talk about the future of the podcast. This is probably going to be the last episode of season 2.5, and as I've been fighting the tide for 2.5 years now, we've gotten to a point where the amount of episodes that we've recorded is just not going to keep up with the release schedule of every other week. And so, especially with things going on in my own life, that has made it a little harder to get to this and spend as much time on it as I'd like. We're going to be taking a couple months break. Ideally, I'd like to make it back in February and start releasing some more episodes, hopefully start resolving some of the storylines that we've been setting up for a couple of years now. But in the meantime, I wanted to let everybody know that we are not abandoning the podcast by any means. It might look different in the future, especially after season 3 for each of these groups, in which once their storylines resolve, the format of the podcast might look different. The release schedule might look different. I'm looking to get into law school next year. I'm doing my admissions process right now, which is eating up a lot of my time. And then going into law school, it's probably going to continue to eat a lot of my time. And so I have to make some difficult balance choices in terms of what I want to do for the podcast versus what I can actually commit to it. And so I want to be very open with everyone who's been a fan of the podcast up to this point about that process. But I want to once again say that I am not abandoning the podcast. Even if it's just once every couple months we release a one-shot, it's something that I have enjoyed doing and I'd like to keep going. And if you guys have liked it as well, and it's something that you want to see in the future, we'd love to hear from you on Twitter, in our email, on Discord. Come talk about the show with us, because we've really enjoyed doing it, and we'd love to hear what your thoughts are from the people who have been listening. And I just want to thank everyone from the bottom of my heart for over 2.5 years of listening to this show and going on this journey with us, because it's been something that's been very special to me, and I'm glad to have shared it with all of you. And I'm looking forward to sharing more stories with you in the future. So don't give up hope on us. We will be back, and I will do my best to keep all of our fans updated as much as I can. Thank you so much for listening.
Mistborn and all related properties are owned by Brandon Sanderson and Dragonsteel Entertainment. The Mistborn adventure game is a product of Crafty Games. Special thanks to Steve Argyle for letting us use his artwork for the logo, and to Boardroom Design for putting the logo together for us. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter at LLOS Podcast, or give us an email at lostlegendsofscadrial@gmail.com. We hope that you'll like and share and give us a review on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time.
Oh, yeah. Hello. The name. Oh shit. Why didn't I prepare a fucking name? What is wrong with me? My brain has been eaten by the LSAT, guys.
That's probably
Should have said
probably
something
a
at the
very
beginning.
common
It could have
thing.
been Gidward.
I mean, that's okay. A lot of times naming people takes 9 months. So
Yeah.
So you're ahead of time.
I am gonna just say that his first name is Stefan. And through the power of editing, all of this shall disappear.